Now once again it's time to talk about the Hunger Games. We've just found out that Stanley Tucci has been cast. He will be playing the host, he'll be playing Caesar Flickerman. Now he's going to be in charge of this crazy games, these fight to the death that all these kids have to take part in. So I reckon he's going to be quite eccentric. As I said, I haven't read the books, but we know he can play kind of weird characters, sometimes murderers, sometimes the friendly sidekick, so I think he's perfectly cast for that and I can't wait to see him. Now we were all waiting to find out who'd be playing Haymitch, who is Katniss Everdeen's mentor. Katniss we know is being played by Jennifer Lawrence. All the rumours seem to be for John C. Reilly, who we best know for his comedy, you know, all the sort of things with Will Ferrell, but we know he's also got, for example, we need to talk about Kevin coming up with Tilda Swinton, so we know that he can do very serious roles. So I was quite interested to see what his take on the role would be, but it's gone to Woody Harrelson, and I'm really pleased about that because, for example, in Zombieland, we know he's crazy anyway. We don't even need Zombieland as an example, but he's mental. He can play crazy roles, but he can play really loving roles. So I think giving him the best of both worlds there, and I think he's definitely someone who's a lot more of an action star as opposed to John C. Reilly. Not that we've seen John C. Reilly ever had a chance to do that sort of thing, but Woody Harrelson definitely for that role, for Katniss's mentor, just to train people to fight, I just think he's absolutely perfect and spot on there. Can't wait to see it, and anything with Woody Harrelson in is something I'd always want to go and see. So we've also had the casting for Cato and Clove, who are two younger children in the book. Apparently they are some of the fiercest fighters, so looking forward to seeing them. They're being played by a 19-year-old guy called Alexander Ludwig and a girl called Isabel Furman. So, you know, again, obviously this kind of film is going to explode them into the stratosphere, so good for them, and we'll look forward to seeing what they're like. There's certain people who've all been waiting to find out if they're going to be in The Hobbit or not. We're waiting for Orlando Bloom, which there doesn't seem to be any word on. But from Sir Ian McKellen's blog, we've just found out that Hugo Weaving will be back and playing Elrond. Now, this is great because obviously it's not come from any sort of big movie news thing, it's just come straight from Sir Ian, and I love how candid and honest he has been about that, so thanks Sir Ian. It's nice to know we've got Elrond back amongst the rest of the cast. So I know that's good news for a lot of you, and you'll be really happy about that one. Now, I told you last week about Rachel Weisz had just been cast, well, she was in negotiations for Sam Raimi's Oz the Great and Powerful. But this week she's been talked about a lot as being the person who they're going to place opposite Jeremy Renner in the new Bourne film. Now, I'm guessing the filming schedules aren't exactly going to be friendly with each other here. I'm guessing she's going to have to choose between one or the other. But her being a big star, I think maybe there might be some room to breathe, some room to move there. She'd be great in both. I can definitely see her in that mystical role for Sam Raimi. I was really pleased when I heard about that. As for Bourne, her name has been tossed around for the new Bond film quite a lot, and she's got that sort of class, that elegance. She's very British, quintessentially. So I think she'd be a great choice. I think it'd be great to see her do something a bit more, you know, sort of gritty. Obviously, we've seen her in things like, you know, The Constant Gardener, where she won her Oscar, and we know that she can do, you know, sensitive material. But this is kind of in between. This is that sort of action, but there's obviously a lot of sensitive stuff in there too. So I think, you know, she'd be perfect for that kind of thing. I think give her a chance. She's not as young as a lot of people whose names normally get bandied about, so I'm really, really glad that Rachel's getting pushed in for this one, and I really hope she gets it. So, as I said, it's just not a rumour, but it's just been talked about at the moment, so as soon as I do find out, I'll let you know. Now, love him or hate him, Darren Aronofsky is quite obviously the Marmite in the director's world. I happen to love his work, but I'm not going to knock anyone who doesn't. I can see why people don't. His stuff is quite close to the knuckle. But there's been talk that his next project could be something called Human Nature, and it could be with George Clooney. Now, don't take this as set in stone too much, because there's been a lot of talk about Aronofsky possibly doing a Noah's Ark piece, possibly working on a film called The Tiger with Brad Pitt. So this might not be happening, but it's just something, it's one of these rumours at the moment with Aronofsky, because he's obviously left the Wolverine, it's just deciding what he's going to be doing, and I think a lot of projects, if there's anything going, people are attaching Aronofsky's name to it quite quickly. Now, Human Nature is a really interesting project. It's a sci-fi kind of thing, but a lot of the movie websites seem to be thinking that there might be a bit of comedy in there, because it's a bit of an off-kilter idea. It's Clooney would, if it's Clooney, he'd play a cryogenically frozen man who's been frozen for 15 years. And when he's unfrozen, he comes back, and what's happened is we are the humans. We're no longer the sort of main race. We are now pets to the main race. So this does sound most definitely like a very Aronofsky project. It's a little bit crazy, a little bit sci-fi like he does in The Fountain, and, you know, all these sort of films he does. So I think it's understandable to see why people would attach his name to it. I hope it does come together. I think Clooney has really surprised a lot of people since his career's really taken off and since he's been directing and writing, and obviously winning his Oscars. So I think putting these two together would be really, really exciting. So let me know what you think, but I'm thinking this is a positive and I'm hoping it happens. Now, Al Pacino's last film with Robert De Niro, Righteous Kill, I know a lot of you were really disappointed with it, and critically, I know it, wasn't received amazingly well. But I think this news might add to people's disappointment about him. I don't know, only because Lindsay Lohan's in it, and I think anything with Lindsay Lohan, people seem to be a bit like, oh, don't want to go near that. But we've just found out that he's joining Gotti 3 Generations, which stars John Travolta, his wife Kelly Preston, Joe Pesci, and as I just said, Lindsay Lohan. The thing is though, Lindsay Lohan was actually asked to be in that film by the person she's playing, so I don't really see how the production companies could have held off so much. I mean, I'm guessing that the Gotti family are putting money into this, so I think that's probably where that sort of controversy lied, and maybe if they hadn't been putting money into it and funding it, then Lohan probably would have been out of the picture. But anyway, Pacino's just joined that, and he's also got some directing pieces coming up, so there'll probably be quite a lot to say about him soon. I'm guessing we'll find out a lot more about the Gotti film because the casting's been come together quite quickly. Not a film that many people are sounding that positive about, but as I said, I think that's just a Lindsay Lohan stigma, which is a shame, really. So there's been a lot of talk about Baz Luhrmann's new film coming out, which he's putting in 3D, which a lot of people are a bit confused as to why The Great Gatsby needs to be in 3D, but hey-ho, it's Baz Luhrmann, and we know he's an artistic genius, so I'm guessing after the crazy colour and, well, the spectacle that Moulin Rouge was, I think maybe it's not such a bad thing if he's doing it. But I told you that Ben Affleck couldn't play Tom Buchanan anymore because of his new directorial piece Argo. Unfortunately, just the timing didn't work out with those two. But we found out this week 2 actors that have been reading for the role of Tom Buchanan. Joel Edgerton, who you will start to definitely be aware of. He's Australian, and he's playing opposite Tom Hardy in Warrior, which is just about to come out. So you'll see a lot of posters for that, and there's a lot of trailers floating about on the net for that, so you'll definitely know who he is. And also Luke Evans, who you will know from Tamara Drew. But the role of Jordan Baker, who's Tom Buchanan's mistress, she's just been given out, and everyone kind of thought it would be someone, quite big, because we've got Carey Mulligan playing the other female lead. So the girl who's playing it is called Elizabeth Debicki, and she has literally just come out of drama school in Australia. We were told that, she was reading for the role, and Luhrmann just thought she was perfect. So good for her. You can't go against that. And Luhrmann obviously knows what he's doing. So she sounds really exciting. Baker is a real character role, and it was mentioned that Isla Fisher would be playing her. And as I said, I was a bit not confused, but a bit dubious about that. Because as I said, I thought someone a bit more plain might play her. I'm not saying Debicki's plain at all, but I just thought on past experience we'd seen Isla Fisher playing quite prim and cutesy roles. So this, Elizabeth Debicki, this is a great meaty role for her to get into, straight out of drama school. So really, really excited. So keep your eyes peeled and keep your ears out for Elizabeth Debicki. Now this next film's one I don't think a lot of you are going to forget about once you hear about it. It's directed by Steven Soderbergh, who allegedly was meant to be retiring. Not quite sure what's happening there. We know he's got Liberace, the biopic with Michael Douglas and Matt Damon coming out, but this film's now just being thrown about, so don't really know when he's going to retire. But anyway, it's called Magic Mike, and it's going to star Alex Pettyfer and Channing Tatum. Now, I don't know how many of you knew, but Channing Tatum used to actually be a stripper when he was about 19, and this film is to be based on his experiences as a stripper. Little Alex Pettyfer, well, he's 21, he's going to be playing sort of the Channing Tatum role. He's going to be playing what Channing Tatum went through when he was 19, and then Channing Tatum is going to play his mentor, if that makes any sense. So that's kind of interesting. Don't know quite how homoerotic that's going to be. Not so sure, but it sounds interesting, and Steven Soderbergh's obviously a very well respected and Oscar-winning director, so I don't think it's going to be sort of, too crazy and controversial, but who knows. I'll let you know more about it if you want me to. But yeah, sounds pretty interesting, so keep your eyes peeled for that one. Just to give you a bit of an update on Dark Tower, Ron Howard's project, which seems a little bit doomed at the moment. Apparently production's been sort of pushed back now till February, so it's not saying it's not going to happen, so don't get too disheartened, but as I said, this kind of project needs so much money, and they were looking to do it as a TV series as well alongside the film. So any sort of loss of money and funding here is obviously going to really harm the film, because it needs a lot of money. It's a massive scale production. Well, it needs to be, because the stories are really intricate, and it's really it's fantasy. So this sort of thing can only work with a massive budget. So I don't know what's going to happen. I really hope, for the sake of all you fans, Stephen King fans out there, that it really pulls off. Obviously I'll let you know, because this kind of project, there's a feeling that it could get pushed back further and further, then not happen, or just be completely recast, end up with Ron Howard leaving and it just being a whole different production. So I'll let you know. It's a bit sad, but keep your fingers crossed, and I'll let you know. Now, my absolute favourite cast of the year is shaping up. This movie is going to be insane. It's going to be, well, it has to be Oscar nominated, because this cast is ridiculous. The film's Cloud Atlas, and as you know, it's going to be worked on by the Wachowski brothers, and also the guy who directed Run Lola Run. So really exciting, going to be obviously very quirky. It needs to be, because the book's really different. It features lots of different stories that are sort of intertwined, and they're mainly sort of love stories, but they all link up. And I'm not going to say too much. I have read the book, and it's amazing. But to say too much maybe would give too much away, but it's fine to say they intertwine. Now, this week we've had 4 big names confirmed to be in there. We've got Jim Broadbent, we've got Susan Sarandon, we've got Ben Whishaw, and we've also got Hugo Weaving again. Halle Berry's been talked about to be involved for quite a while, and she's just confirmed her involvement as well, and Tom Hanks was already on board. Natalie Portman was originally going to be in it, but as soon as she got pregnant, she left the project. So if she was in it as well, I mean, that cast is insane, but even without her, it's just amazing, and you need to keep your eyes out for this one. Ian McKellen was talked about for a while, so there's no word on that at the moment, and obviously he's got The Hobbit, but he has got some sort of exit clause where he is able to go and do other things, because my hometown, Chichester, it's going to give it a little plug, he's performing in a world premiere there, you know, at the Chichester Festival Theatre, so completely sold out. So sorry guys, you've got no chance of going to see it now, but he's doing that as well, so that was part of his clause. So who knows, maybe part of his contract will see him being in that, or maybe he won't have to film on that until a lot later. And another big piece of news from this week would be something I mentioned last week. Chris Hemsworth, Thor, he is now definitely the Huntsman in Snow White and the Huntsman. Now obviously Cannes Film Festival is going on at the moment, and I'm ridiculously jealous of anyone who's out there, especially as I've just seen an amazing video from the guys over at Hey You Guys, and they've shown Kanye West performing Gold Digger, and oh, Jamie Foxx just happens to go and pop up on stage, and oh, Leo DiCaprio just happened to be at the same party. But anyway, we've got the fact that Terminator has been up for bid there, and it's all gone crazy, and Megan Ellison, the woman who's been sort of in charge of that, she's got it, and she's sorted it out that there's going to be 2 more Terminator films, and as far as we know, Arnold Schwarzenegger is attached to star in both of them, and Fast Five's Just Lin is also attached to direct both of them. Let me know what you think about that one. And the second thing, which also involves Megan Ellison, she's all over the place, she's doing very well for herself, is the fact that the film that has the most buzz about it, that most people want to get their claws into, is The Wettest County in the World, which is directed by The Road's John Hillcoat. The cast for this film is amazing. It's got one of my personal faves, Tom Hardy. It's also got Shia LaBeouf, it's got Gary Oldman, Mia Wasikowska, and it's also got Guy Pearce. I've been excited about this for ages. It sounds, I mean, the title sounds like a Coen Brothers film anyway, but really keep your eyes peeled. I'm not going to shut up about this the nearer we get to the time, so definitely one to look out for, and congrats to Megan Ellison. She's done very well out there. Okay, so photo-wise this week, I've got Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, I've got the Dark Knight Rises set photos, I've got first look at Brad Pitt in Kogan's Trade, 35 stills from The Hangover Part 2, and I've got new Spidey pictures. Poster-wise, I have 2 teaser posters. I have The Muppets and I have The Expendables 2. Trailers, I have Hugh Jackman's Real Steel, I have Final Destination 5, I have Horrible Bosses, which I absolutely love. Watch it. I've also got Cars 2, I've got Fright Night, I've got TV spots, I've got 2 for Super 8, I've got 2 for Harry Potter. That's a lie, I've got 1 for Harry Potter and I've got 2 for X-Men First Class. Then I've got clips, I've got We Need to Talk About Kevin, I've got X-Men First Class, I've got Kung Fu Panda 2 and Tree of Life. And then finally, my Friday video this week over at my blog is literal trailers. Go and watch it, it made me laugh. I've got 1 for Harry Potter and I've got 1 for Tron Legacy, which is my favourite, and it's from the wonderful Tobuscus over on YouTube.